Good evening and welcome to Greater Somerville for May 21st, 2013. I'm Joe Lynch. Cayenne Anderson is off tonight. On May 14th, 2013, Mayor Joe Curtatone issued an open letter to the public regarding an alleged homophobic slur against a Somerville public official and a friend of the mayor's. The letter has prompted private and public discussion here in the city as to the intent of the mayor's letter, who he was speaking about, and what exactly the nature of the alleged homophobic slur encompassed. We now know, due to considerable subsequent press coverage about the letter and public statements issued by the mayor and the target of the alleged slurs, that the person involved was the alderman from Ward 5, Courtney O'Keefe. Multiple local and selected regional news sites were provided the content of the mayor's letter, and you can read his full letter there. The multiple interviews provided by the mayor and Alderman O'Keefe are still online by searching those media sites as well. From a very personal viewpoint, I'd like to take this opportunity on the show tonight to respond directly to the mayor's letter as it was written to the public on May 14th, 2013. And with your indulgence, I'd like to respond with my own thoughts and opinions here and now to the mayor's letter. In the open letter to the public, Mayor Joe Curtatone wrote the following. It has come to my attention that offensive homophobic slurs have been publicly spoken about a Somerville elected official and a friend of mine. In light of this information, let me renew my stance on this and any other derogatory remarks against human beings in ours and any other community. This kind of abusive behavior has no place in our city or any other. Not only do I personally condemn all anti-gay slurs and insults, the city of Somerville has an ordinance on the books that proudly informs every resident and guest of our city that we stand in solidarity with all lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people, as well as all residents of any gender, age, or ethnicity. I encourage everyone to take a moment to read it and take it to heart. The mayor then goes on to say, we often speak about the fact that we are a city that prides itself on its diversity and its inclusiveness, but fostering tolerance sometimes takes action. In our city, we passed an ordinance as a first step, and each day we hold true to it. In Somerville, everyone is welcome and equal. The mayor then goes on to repeat the ordinance as written on the city books. That ordinance was passed on January 28th, 1993. The mayor then goes on, every human being deserves the right to respect, dignity, and decency. Know that in Somerville, these kinds of slurs and behavior will not be tolerated, regardless of whether the victim holds a public position or not. It is a basic human right to be treated equally regardless of sexual orientation, race, cultural background, or any other quality or characteristic. And in Somerville, we will continue to honor that right. Sincerely, Joseph A. Curtatone, Mayor. In response to the mayor's letter, I wrote the following to selected media sites. I'd like to read that letter to you now. Homophobia has no place in our Somerville community, and neither does favoritism. In your May 14th, 2013 letter to the Somerville public, you made clear that homophobia has no place in our Somerville community. I wholeheartedly agree and thank you for that letter. As an openly gay man running for Somerville alderman in 2007, I understood not everyone is as open as we to the idea of inclusion. Candidates for office in Somerville, like me, Alderman candidate Marty Martinez, State Representative Carl Shortino, former State Senator Jarrett Barrios, all before me, suffered homophobic slurs and other insults we should not have in this day and age. But we did. Mayor, we could have used your support then, but no such open letter to the public was forthcoming. The Somerville News Talk for Wednesday, October 31st, 2007, allowed commenters to post vile, hateful, and homophobic online comments leveled at me, Alderman Gewirtz, Alderman White, and candidates Fred Berman and Rachel Heller. And still, you stood by silently. No open letter to the public. And to this day, you continue to write a column for the Somerville News, the newspaper that has chosen to keep every word of those homophobic, vile, and hateful posts in place. Fast forward to today, when we see an unusually high number of incumbent Somerville aldermen stepping away from elective office. Alderman Taylor's decision to not seek re-election has been met with profound sadness and nothing but gratitude and love for he and his family. The sudden resignation, however, of 2 aldermen, the announcement of another to not seek re-election, and the possibility of more to come, has been met by the Somerville community with puzzlement and concern. You have publicly supported the appointment of a friend of yours to fill one of those sudden resignations. The appointed alderman in question is controversial, not for her politics, her gender, or her sexual preference, but for the fact that her appointment, fully supported by you, has bypassed the traditional route of appointment. It is odd that you have chosen this moment to become an advocate for the rights of city officials and candidates for office. While I could never condone hateful slurs of any kind that you allude to in your letter, now is not the time to be cagey, Mayor. If sunlight is indeed the best disinfectant, let's be open with each other. As a gay man, I've told some pretty damn funny gay jokes. And within my LGBT community, we even make fun of each other. And if any member of the LGBT community, including the alderman in question, tells you any differently, take that with a grain of salt. Mayor, I've lived with and fought against homophobia for the last 50 years. I've been the target of homophobic-inspired verbal and physical assaults. At first, I found your letter to be confusing, somewhat disingenuous, and had a not-so-subtle whiff of political opportunism. But after some thought, my more rational side has taken hold. Once again, Mayor Curtatone, I say thank you for finally reminding us that homophobia has no place in Somerville. Mayor, if your aim in issuing your letter is to deflect attention from a brewing situation at City Hall, Somerville may be just a bit too smart for that. And if your aim is to condemn homophobia, you may be about a decade too late. I and others could have used your support in the past, but I guess we just weren't your friends. Let me state once again that the subject of homophobia is a serious and very personal matter to me. For most people I know, and for our city as I know it, homophobia bigotry, anti-Semitism, and bias of any kind will not be accepted. Our city has come a long way over the years, Mayor, and most folks I know have changed, matured in their thinking, and have become much more sensitive to and accepting of the ever-increasing diversity of this community we call home. My intent in writing my response to your letter is simple. Laws governing hate crimes, including the city ordinance the mayor referenced, have been on the books for years. But maybe we do need reminders every now and then. But these same laws and ordinances should never be abused or used for anything other than their intended purpose. Viewers of Greater Somerville, I want to thank you for allowing me this time, and thank you for watching Greater Somerville. As always, stay safe and stay informed. Good night.